Welcome to episode 2 of the This is Reportage podcast. My name is Alan Law. I'm the founder of This is Reportage, and I'm a wedding photographer myself. Today I'm delighted to bring you Ross Harvey, one of my all-time favourite wedding photographers, Nikon ambassador, and a bit of a master of the mind too. Stick with us as Ross will be talking about lots of things, including how a special Christmas gift changed his life, what being successful actually means to him, how to become a better documentary wedding photographer, shooting for other wedding photographers, the power of visualization and how to become more confident, and much more. Hey Ross, how you doing?
Well, good, thanks. How are you?
I am good, very good, very good. Yeah, how's things? Been a while since I've seen you. It was last year, wasn't it? I think.
It was last year, yeah. It's been a good year, thank you. Shot some nice weddings. Shot a bit less this year on purpose, so it's been nice and relaxed.
Good stuff, good stuff. You got many to edit at the moment, or is that all right?
3 on the pile, then I'm done.
Oh, that's not bad, is it? And then you can relax, and then we have 9 dots to try and win our table tennis again.
Yeah, well, hopefully if we can fix it against we're on the same team. Which we didn't do.
We really didn't do, did they? They really thought we fixed it, and we did not fix it, people. We didn't.
No, it's completely natural.
Cool, Ross. So thanks so much for your time and coming on here. It's really fab to have you on this. Your dad gave you a special Christmas gift with the note "Follow your dreams." Can you tell us about that?
Oh yeah, that's a pivotal moment in my life. That was. I owe him my career basically and happiness.
Man, big deal.
Yeah, well, me and my dad always got on well, and I used to be a hardcore gamer playing Quake 1, 2, 3, and Counter-Strike Source.
Okay, cool.
So we used to sit in the same study. He was working, I was playing games, and he used to watch me sort of researching camera equipment. And he did actually see me looking at the D700 and posting about it on forums and stuff. So he just got it for me as a surprise at Christmas, yeah. But not just the camera. He brought that out by itself with the label "Follow Your Dreams." But when he went upstairs again on Christmas Day, he came down with 3 more gifts, which was the 24-70 85mm 1.4D, also known as the Cream Machine, and the 70-200.
Man, that is an awesome Christmas gift, though, isn't it?
It was the most sort of generous, thoughtful present I've ever had, and I haven't got children, but if I did, I would just completely support them with their passions because you never know what can happen.
It's so true. Yeah. And what was your childhood like in general? Happy? Did you like school? Good at it?
Yeah, I was just an average kid, really. I mean, I used to have long hair as a child, so I was the only one at school with long hair because my mum was a rocker. So I got bullied a lot, actually.
Oh, really? What
Yeah.
proper long hair, like shoulder length?
Yeah, damn straight.
Oh man, I'm so jealous of that. That would take me about 30 years to grow.
I'm jealous of it now because my hair's a bit thinner, so I'd love that hair now.
But you got bullied then, really?
Yeah, just a bit. Nothing serious, nothing physical. But children can be tough, and when you're a child, you don't really understand how the psychology basically, unless you're some sort of genius prodigy. So you're easily offended and upset.
Yeah.
But it taught me a very valuable lesson. It taught me how to never treat anybody. So I'm actually pleased about it because it made me a better person.
Man, yeah, that is a big deal though. And at school, did you always dream of being a wedding photographer? Can't imagine that was the case. What did you want to be back then?
Oh, hell no, I wanted to travel around in a spaceship.
You do that now, don't you? Isn't that how you get between weddings?
I don't tell anyone, Alan. That's my secret.
Yeah, no, what did you want to do?
To be honest, I had no idea. At school, I've always been artistic, so I used to draw all the time. But I used to draw like Marvel characters, my own superheroes and stuff. I've always been a bit of a sci-fi geek. And when I went to uni, I did a master's in advanced computer science because I followed my father's footsteps because he was a very good programmer.
Okay, cool.
And when I was at uni, I taught myself graphic design and left uni and did like a programming sort of UI website design. That moved towards graphic design, usability consultancy, and brand design. And when I was doing that, I taught myself photography, and then I ended up doing that. So all my income has been from self-taught stuff, ironically.
What, just kind of looking on the internet and getting books and things, or
books, the internet? Not so much books nowadays, but it was the internet and just practice. Because I loved it, I devoted every waking moment to it. Like when I was a programmer and a graphic designer, and I just found out about photography and discovered I loved it, I didn't stop. I was just shooting and practicing and reading. I mean, when I get into something, I'm 100 miles an hour.
I think that's a really good way to be, isn't it? You just got to put your all into everything. And I guess it's fair to say it's worked out well for you. You've won Best Photographer in England 2 years running at TWIA, which is amazing. I mean, you've won loads of other awards as well, but that one specifically, did winning that award have a notable impact on your career? You know, did couples book you specifically because of that?
I think it helped more so with my confidence because I didn't shoot any differently, but to have that sort of recognition was very helpful for me at the time. And it mainly helped with planners because couples will, if you're a really nice guy or girl and a photographer and you're shooting for your couples and they love you, they're going to recommend you anyway, regardless if you're awards or not.
Mm.
But sometimes it's helpful with planners and stuff. Like they go, oh, they might check the website of TWIA if they entered. So you might find a planner will recommend you just because you won that. That happened a little bit to me. And when you get in touch with planners who are like non-UK or abroad, those credentials can help a bit. I mean, it's all about your portfolio and your personality, 100%. But these things just give them a little mental tick box that you're actually a safe person, if that makes sense.
Are you safe though, Ross? Are you safe?
Absolutely not.
And how do you get on working with planners in general? Do you enjoy weddings that have planners? Are most of your weddings now involved with planners?
All of them, yeah.
Wow, really all?
Yeah, I'm used to it now. To be perfectly honest, I've been very lucky. I tend to shoot with really nice people, albeit planners and couples. So the myth that shooting planned weddings of high-end stuff is tough is not true, really. I mean, it's very challenging. I don't think some people realize that when you shoot these high-end weddings with high-end planners and people who expect the best of everything, they wear like the craziest clothes and jewelry. There's a lot of pressure for you to deliver. So it's not just a thing of going out and shooting this beautiful scene in front of you. Sometimes you have to work very hard to make it look good.
And it is, as you picked up on there though as well. A lot of wedding photographers, they're kind of scared of raising their prices because they think their kind of client base are going to really change and be perhaps a bit more, I don't know, a bit more difficult as they go up in price bands. Have you not found that to be the case?
Absolutely 100% not. In fact, I'm having the most fun of my life at the moment with the weddings I shoot because A, I get to go to some beautiful places for free. In fact, you get paid for it. And B, I shoot a lot for Americans nowadays, and they're just generally super laid back. They have a free bar, so everyone gets smashed in the evening, and I have a few drinks with them. So it's just one great big celebration and party at the end. I mean, I think as a wedding photographer, it's one of the best jobs you could possibly have ever. I think we're so lucky.
We are so lucky, aren't we? But what would you do if we weren't this lucky? If you weren't a wedding photographer, what do you think you would be doing now?
I'd be doing design stuff because I still love it. I'd be working with doing brands and probably still websites.
I bet that's coming really handy for your own career, your website, that kind of graphic design knowledge. Do you design all your kind of like website stuff and logo and thing?
Yes, yeah, I did it all myself. And I'm currently working on a new website because my current one is so old and it's got such old content on. I've got like 2-3 years of awesome stuff to put on there. So I hopefully by December I'll have launched a new website with all new content.
Oh, that's cool. I bet.
Just a little plug there.
Yeah, no, you got to do it, man. You've got to plug away. Okay, gonna slightly change track to say, ask what is your favorite or the very best Netflix or other streaming service? We're not sponsored by Netflix. TV series ever that you've seen?
Oh, it's got to be Breaking Bad, but with a second place very close with The Boys, which is that dark superhero series. Which
Oh, I've not seen that. Is that
Oh,
good?
you have to watch it. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, if you like sci-fi and you've got dark humor and you don't mind a bit of grittiness, it's just absolutely brilliant. But on a sort of a side note, Peaky Blinders, I don't really enjoy it as much, but people should watch that just for the cinematography and the lighting because, my goodness, I'm watching it with Holly at the moment and it's done so well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I like Peaky Blinders. I'm from the Midlands as well, actually. So it's like watching home with a lot more kind of smoke and fire and murder. But I love Dark, by the way. If you like sci-fi, have you seen Dark on Netflix?
Do you know what? I watched the first 2 episodes, but then the season went crazy and I haven't finished. But like Racy was telling me, I have to watch it. Apparently, it's brilliant.
It is, honestly, it's amazing, man. It is amazing.
Okay, that's my next watch.
Definitely do it, and watch it with subtitles as well, not dubbed.
That's what Rosie said. It's that detracts from it if it's dubbed, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. And it's good to practice a bit of German as well. Okay, let's get slight change attack again. What does it mean to be successful to you?
Oh, that's the question. This is going to sound like a cliche, but to me, it's just being happy.
Honestly, man, but that's the biggest thing in life. It is.
It is. If you're happy, you have a good life. It's that simple. I don't think you should be taught that at school, really, rather than everything being educational in terms of intelligence. You should be taught emotional intelligence and how to deal with stress, how to find happiness, and how to set your own personal boundaries and stuff. It's so important, yet no one really knows anything about it.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But yeah, what makes you particularly happy? What is it and things in life that makes Ross Harvey happy?
Well, apart from gin and tonic, it's cre- creative fulfillment. I like to be able to express myself creatively, and it doesn't really matter if people give me feedback anymore or not. It's great with photography, but my other passion and hobby is making music, and I haven't shared anything with that yet, but I just love doing it because it just makes me happy to be in a creative zone.
Oh wow, cool. What kind of music?
Electronic stuff. It's a bit complicated actually. It's not a typical sort of EDM type thing. I'm trying to make an album or an EP which is story based, and it's about a dystopian sci-fi future. Some guy escaping like an oppressive culture and breaking his way out and being chased and stuff. So there's a whole story about it, but I'm
Wow.
about halfway through. But I just love the process.
Man, that sounds awesome. And so, is it going to have vocals as well, or is it all just purely
Yeah,
electronic? With
yes, it's
vocals
got
as well?
vocals. Yeah, my own vocals, believe it or not.
Oh wow, man, that's awesome. That's really exciting.
Yeah, funnily enough, I've got a bit of a sort of like a low soft or Cornwall tint to my voice accent, but when I'm singing, I sound more American, which is a bit bizarre.
Oh wow. So when can we expect to have a little teaser of that then?
All being well, mid Q1 of next year, I think I'll be able to release something.
Oh man, that's really exciting. I think that's so cool to kind of challenge yourself and do different things like that as well.
Yeah, it's insane how difficult creating music is, and the engineering side of it, not just being able to produce well, but looking at EQ and compression and the nuances of that it makes photography look very easy in comparison.
Right, yeah. I mean, I had a little bit of experience with that. And my past life, I used to record songs for people as gifts. That was on my past business. So I used to do
It's really
audio
cool.
recording and but yeah, exciting, man. That's cool. Um, so you've shot a lot of fellow wedding photographers' weddings. Do you enjoy that? Do you feel extra pressure when you're shooting for another wedding photographer?
No, not at all. I don't feel pressure at all when I'm shooting. I'm confident with who I am and what I'm going to deliver to people. So I actually love shooting for photographers because they just give you complete creative freedom. They're like, where do you want the first dance to be? Where's the best light? Where's the best background? Just choose it. Choose where you want to put us, and we'll do it. And I
Oh, that's cool.
I thrive in that situation.
So wedding photographers are like the perfect client.
Yes, although they all think I'm too expensive. Those days are gone now.
It's funny that you mentioned nerves there, actually. I did a podcast interview with Adam Johnson a couple of days ago, and he mentioned you in it actually, and he said how he spoke to you about nerves and that you don't really get nervous, which is amazing, I think. I think a lot of wedding photographers do suffer from nerves. So, do you have any kind of advice and tips about that at all?
Well, this is what I teach in workshops and one-to-ones and stuff. But obviously, I do get hit with adrenaline and excitement or nervousness. But it's an energy, isn't it? You can either make it fear or you can make it excitement. You just change that energy to be one of the two. And of course, I'm not some sort of Buddha that floats around. I have my own fears and issues, and I might get hit with a little instant burst of, uh-oh, this is going to be tricky. But I don't generate that. I don't perpetuate that as fear and my lack of ability. I just turn it into, I can do this. So I have the skills to do this. I can get on with it. So you have to be very confident in the way you speak to yourself. Like your inner voice, most people don't realize is a reflection of your belief system. That's a massive, massive thing to know because it just reflects back to you how you think. So if you listen to your inner voice, you can hear the sides that are saying you can do things, and you can hear the side of you that says you can't do things, and listen specifically to the bits that hold you back. And then you can delve a lot deeper into how to do that. I mean, it'd take like a 2-hour podcast to break that
Yeah.
down, but it just helps you analyze yourself, and that links back to the happiness thing because once you start doing that, you're a lot happier.
Man,
And when you're happy, you're creative.
it sounds really difficult to do that. I mean, have you always been able to kind of do that then? Were you kind of never nervous even when you shot like your first wedding?
I mean, I've always been a relaxed person. I think that did bleed through into my professional life, but everyone gets nervous. It's just what you do with the energy. You can turn it into something else. Like stage fright is getting that initial, say you're going to go and do a talk in front of 200 people. You're just behind the curtain. I get nervous. It's like, I've got to perform now. But stage fright, if someone gets it, is taking the energy and saying, this is going to be hard, I can't do it, I don't think I can do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. And you push yourself into a big hole, and you literally, the fear takes you over so much, you physically can't go on stage. That's what stage fright is. Or you can take that energy and say, I've prepared for this. People want to hear what I've got to say. I'm going to do my best to teach people something, or at least open their eyes to something, or so they leave wanting to try something or feeling better about themselves. I'm just going to go out and I'm going to do it. You can change the energy into something else, and it's your choice to do that. Everything is a choice in your life, positive or negative. Every single moment of your life and every single decision you get to choose. And of course, if you have depression, which both my sister and my mother have had, it's much, much more difficult, and that's a psychological issue that needs different treatment. But if you're not clinically depressed and you just are prone to being negative, it's actually easier than you think. It's just repetition, because the brain is the analogy I like to use is a field full of reeds. If you wear a path through that field, like a clear, dusty walkway, your brain will fire down that path easily because it knows where to go. And if you've been negative, you've just basically got a path like that in your brain and your neurological network. And to think of something positive, which is different, you have to sort of jungle mode, get your machete out and start cutting through the reeds to make a new path. And the brain finds that a bit more difficult because it wants to go down the path that it can see. So it's just a point of being very, very repetitive and being like a sentinel of your own thoughts and going, I've got you, negative thought. This time I'm going to think positively. And the more you do it, the more that path gets cut and worn until it becomes a habit. And that's the secret to developing new habits, is just literally persistence. And that's the thing that most people fail on, because they think if they fail in the first week, they've failed, but it takes months. I've been doing it for years.
Well, I mean, that's good to find out that it's something that people can train themselves to do, though. So do you think it's within everyone's reach to be able to do that with practice and dedication?
100%. We're all equal. We're all very, very capable beings. It's just persistence.
I need to try it. I do need to try it because I still get nerves about things. And yeah, I mean, you're always kind of known as this, I think within our industry, a really kind of happy and positive person. So it's obviously, it really, really works for you. Does anything get Ross Harvey down?
Yeah, the fact that I fail being a vegetarian all the time gets me down. Because
Is it McDonald's drew you in? Was it McDonald's drew you back?
I love your McDonald's posts, Alan. They make me bizarrely happy whenever I see one of those. I know the world is right and things are just continuing when I see an Alan Law McDonald's post in the evening.
Oh, that's funny.
No, it's actually bacon sandwich on a barbecue. My neighbours, I smelled the bacon on the barbecue, and I was just like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to have one of those. And that's been a year now since I had that.
Bacon is the downfall. That's funny.
Yeah, but I'm going to go veggie in 2020 again.
Oh, is for what reasons?
Animal welfare.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a very good reason to be vegetarian. A totally original question here. You're cast away on a desert island. What one album would you take with you?
Oh, what a question.
One album.
Man, you should have given me some warning on this, because it's going to take me 10 minutes to figure this out.
Well, it's a big question, isn't it? If you're just there the whole time, you can only listen to one thing. I don't know what I would choose.
I'm just opening up Tidal just to get, so I can try and cheat and look at some albums. Because when someone asks you a question, what's your favorite song? Your brain just goes dead, doesn't it? Basically?
Yeah, that's true.
It might be something by Dire Straits, because that just reminds me of being a kid. Or it might be Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. That would be very, very high up in it.
Neither. I've not listened to either.
Oh, I need to listen to both of those. And I actually really like Ladies and Gentlemen by George Michael. I think it's a cracking album, because I'm not really a fan of the Wham stuff, but there's some beautiful songs that most people don't really know of, like Spinning the Wheel. What's another one on that thing? The Strangest Thing. There's got some really beautiful songs in there that aren't really that poppy Wham kind of stuff that I'm not really a fan of.
Okay.
But probably be Pink Floyd, to be honest.
Okay, I will allow you to have Pink Floyd on your desert island.
Thank
totally
you
original.
Very kind of you.
Do you think about the future? Not being cast away on islands, but the future in general. Whether you'll be still shooting weddings in 10 years' time.
Nope, not in the slightest. I just do what I'm passionate about.
That's good, though. I think that's really important. I think throughout life, people are always saying, you should always have this kind of plan 5-10 years ahead. But yeah, you don't see life like that.
No, and I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. I mean, obviously, I've planned and I've saved finances, and I'm secure in what I'm doing. But I'll shoot weddings when when I'm passionate about it. And that's one of the reasons I shoot less now, like prices up, volume down, because it keeps me loving it. I don't really want to burn out. And I've been doing it 10 years now, and I've shot hundreds of weddings. And if I was still shooting, 30 to 40 weddings in the same location for 10 years, I'd probably be getting a little bit bored, a bit of a plateau. So I push myself so hard because it just keeps me creative and it keeps me growing. It keeps things new for me.
Totally get that. And yeah, 10 years is a long time to be shooting. I mean, what advice would you give for people who have been shooting a long time like that and who are maybe feeling, not too happy with their careers, or they feel it's a bit stale? Do you have any kind of tips for that?
Get off Facebook and get off Instagram. Seriously, because it's just a killer. I don't really use Facebook and I'm terrible for Instagram, as most people know. But I think social media is a big problem, especially for the younger generations, because there's so much pressure to perform and put this up and get likes. And that completely detracts from why you shoot photography. Like, you don't shoot photography to get likes from someone. You shoot it because you love it and other people are benefiting from it. And if you focus on just that, your career will be absolutely fine. It's when people start to second guess themselves and they start looking at all these other Facebook posts and stuff like that, and you tend to put yourself down too easily.
It's so true, isn't it? It's like a cycle. You look on Facebook, you see what kind of images are getting all the likes, and then people replicate that, and then everybody's creating the same kind of off-camera flash backlit portraits, and it's just not about that.
That's exactly right. That's one of the reasons I stopped entering awards years ago, because I just got fed up with the same stuff being regurgitated. And hats off to you for doing a photojournalistic one, because it's less of a fad-based thing, isn't it? Because you're not just doing the backlit OCF or the umbrella rain shot.
That's true. No, yeah.
But at the same time, like, I don't personally go into awards anymore because I've found a rhythm that I'm happy with, and I'm totally comfortable with what I do, regardless of what other people think now. But when I was in a plateau a few years ago, entering an award system did really help me, because it pushed me and I tried to beat things. And that gave me a nice push at the time. So I think that can also be very beneficial, as long as it's to push yourself and not to actually to win and compare to other people.
Definitely 100% agree. Do you not look at kind of any other wedding photographers' work now? Have you never really done that? Or
when I was super passionate learning mode, I was looking at it all the time, just reverse engineering all of my favorite shots and understanding why shots work, the composition, the focal length, the emotion, the layering, all that stuff. But now I don't look at wedding photography at all. In fact, it's one of the reasons I don't open my Facebook page, is because I've got like 5,000 friends on Facebook, and I probably know about, in person, 100 of them or 200. And the wall is just full of the same pictures, and I just can't look at it. So I keep myself away from it. So when I do shoot a wedding, for me it's fresh, and I'm using my own ideas, I'm using my own creativity, and it just keeps me happy. And you asked me a question about what does it mean being happy. I think also it's having time. I think, and I always say this, but time is the most valuable currency. It's more important than money. It's more important than likes, because with time you can do things you want, like learn a bit more about photography, or spend time with your kid, or just spend time chilling. So I've built a life around me which is very modest in the place that, I've lived in the same house for 12 years. I could buy something much bigger and nicer, but I get on. The neighbors have become best friends. We hook up in the summer and we chill out. I'm in a little semi-detached 3-bedroom house, and we love it here. So we live well within our means, and that gives me the ability to have so much time spare, because I don't have really high outgoings. I haven't got myself in a massive mortgage or bought a massive car with a monthly fee.
you don't buy equipment all the time?
No, I'm still using D750s, and because I'm an ambassador for Nikon, you get some sort of handy perks. So I've got some of the new cameras to play. Yeah, I'm not going to lie.
So, I mean, I totally agree with you on that time front as well. And so say if you had 24 hours totally to yourself to do whatever you wanted, and money's no object, what would you do?
I'd make music. Yeah,
Oh, that's
on a beach.
You're on a beach. That'd be quite difficult, though, wouldn't it? No.
Well, maybe I could get some sort of soundproof studio that looked out across like a Bali or Hawaiian beach, and I could just sit there making music and just pop out for the odd cocktail. Now, that would be damn amazing.
That does sound a good 24 hours. Do you know what? I think one of my fondest memories of being with you actually is when at Snap, when we were playing guitar and
I love that.
Yeah, and all singing. That was great, wasn't it?
Oh, moments like that with what make life so beautiful. I actually got goosebumps thinking about that, because that's been burned in my memory for years as well, Alan. The fact you brought I was so happy you brought a guitar, and sitting around a campfire just singing together. That sort of stuff is so valuable to me. That was so cool. Can can I just backtrack slightly because it's something important that
Of
I didn't
course,
mention
yeah.
that you asked me. You said about imagining the future. There is one thing that I did when I was starting out, which I think is actually very valuable. Now, I'm not going to go off on like a massive sort of spiritual or crazy tangent, but
You can if you want.
oh no, I won't. That's not really apropos at the moment. But you heard about Jim Carrey, right? He used to sit on top of the hill on his at Hollywood or something, and he used to. This is before he was famous, and he just sat there at the top of the hill and said, "I'm a world famous actor. I'm a world famous actor. I'm a world famous actor, and I've earned $1 million." And he wrote himself a check for $1 million and put it in his wallet. And
Really?
then
No, I didn't know that.
yeah, and he kept looking at it every night and saying, "Thank you for this. I'm a world famous paid actor. I got $1 million for this film." And yeah, literally a year later, he got his first job and he got $1 million for it. And yeah, I'm not saying that's going to work for everyone because you have to put the work in. But I used to sit in my back porch when I was starting out in photography, saying, "Not I'm the world's best. I said I am a world class photographer. I'm a world class photographer," and I was very grateful for it. So I did use visualization and intention, as well as going through all the learning and the trying and the failing and the failing and the failing and the failing and the trying and the failing and the trying, because it takes effort. But I always said to myself and believed it as it was true, I am a world class photographer. And so that set my standards really high. Now, whether you look into the law of attraction or spiritual stuff or energy and all that things, you don't believe it or not, doesn't matter, because psychologically that sets a bar that will push you with just simple CBT and simple NLP stuff with the mind tricks, simple psychological tricks. You will push harder because you believe you're that good. And I always looked at people like Ronaldo and Messi and anyone who was at the top of their craft, because you know that they had a belief system that said they're going to be the best or they are the best, and that makes them work a certain level. And I did that for photography, and I do believe I'm a world-class photographer now, because if I can shoot anything and be comfortable with it, and I believe that's what makes you a very good photographer, is being able to shoot anything well. I don't mean to brag or anything, but that's like a confidence that means that you're free, which means you can be creative and deal with all sorts of situations. Like, if you get a dark church in the UK, it's fine. If you get a sunny beach, it's fine. If you need to use flash, it's fine. If you don't, that's fine. And I think if you aim for that, anyone becomes world class.
Well, it's totally worked for you, man, as well, isn't it? I mean, it's an exciting possibility and thought that people can do this, can apply this to themselves, and it can obviously work.
Anyone can do it. It's literally just being a persistent mofo. it's to the point of being like, kind of fake it until you make it. That's what I did. If I wasn't confident, I pretended I was, and that's how you sort of burn that new pathway in. And any single person in the world can achieve anything, really. I mean, obviously there are certain limitations to things, maybe physically or mentally, but looking at an average of people, any single one like that we see who is in your This is Reportage, or who goes to 9dots, any of those people who we know could easily become anything they wanted. It's just literally mindset and application.
I think that's awesome, man. I think it's a fantastic way to view life as well, and yeah, that anybody can kind of do anything if they apply themselves to it and believe that they can. So yeah, that's awesome.
Well, that's what, if you look at and you research people who have achieved anything they want, whether it be in like finance, football, sport, skills, they all say the same thing. They say, "I'm that average Joe who just went for it and believed in it, and look where I am." That's like the common denominator between it all.
That's cool. That is cool. Am I right in that you shoot the vast majority of your weddings solo? Does that work better for you?
That was the case, but for this year, the weddings I've shot have been even more sort of high end, and I've had to have a shooter with me, at least one,
Okay.
and sometimes two, depending on the scale of the wedding. But I built my career shooting solo, yeah.
Do you enjoy now working with others, or is it just more of a necessity because they're so big, these weddings?
It is a necessity, but at the same time, I do love the bit of banter you get working with someone, and knowing that you work with someone you can trust and they're doing something so you can focus without having to think, I've got to get back for X, Y, Z.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And with these very high end weddings, you're in the real high end of the market now. I think that's fair to say. And a lot of wedding photographers do aspire to this. Have you got any advice on how to get there and get these big weddings?
Mine came about sort of through recommendations within planners after I got to a certain point. you just have to be confident, really. You have to be able to cope with different situations because, like anything, professionals and peers and colleagues, they like to work with people who make their lives easier. Like you and I would like to work with someone whose life who made their lives easier, right? Everyone
Yeah,
does.
yeah, definitely.
So when you're working with people, just don't be a burden, And being a burden might mean that you get negative about something, or you're trying to force something there isn't really time to do, or you're being taken along with the portraits. But I just make sure that it's effortless working with me, with whoever I'm working with, and so they can quite happily recommend me because they know it's going to be easy for them and they're going to get great pictures. So it's being confident with your skills and understanding that it's actually a team. Because when you work with planners at high end, you don't go there as the photographer who's going to do this and do that. I mean, you have that intention, but you have to work within a team, so it becomes like a big project that you have to plan and be prepared for. I mean, there's a lot more planning involved, especially in big weddings, because you have to sort logistics of. You sometimes need a golf cart to get from the ceremony. We have to hire a car because the venue's so big. You've got to drive from the prep on the same bit of land to the ceremony.
That's mad.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I was on a horse and cart this year, trying to get from the ceremony to the trying to get from the preps to the ceremony on the damn horse and cart. I mean, how bizarre is that?
That is very different. That's such a cool thing, though, isn't it? As well, and our life's so varied as a wedding photographer. It's amazing.
Yeah, and just as a little shout out to the people who moan about getting fed, please stop it. Seriously, like we're professionals, you should take your own food and be prepared for anything.
That is so
And if
true.
you get fed, it's a bonus. But when we're so lucky, and to moan that you didn't get fed properly, it's like, when was the last time you fed a professional who came around to your house that you might have
Biscuit.
a biscuit and a cup of tea to a
Yeah.
builder? You didn't give them a lunch. You didn't say, here you go, it's a 3-course meal. They didn't moan because they didn't get one.
That is so true. Throughout my career as well, I've always preferred having a packed lunch because I hate the whole cap in hand thing going up to the caterers, like, please,
Yeah.
sir.
Can I have some more? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd still do that. I sort of go in there, flutter my eyebrows. Hello. I'm a poor, hungry colleague and peer. And
Do you
but
eat the canapes? Do you eat the canapes?
100%, yeah, because you can
Yeah.
stop them and say, I just need to take a picture of this, then you just nick one straight away.
Sometimes you get lovely kind of waiters and waitresses who will come over to you, won't they, and ask, and sometimes they're like kind of annoyed at you for taking one. It's
Oh
funny.
yeah, totally. That's so funny. I mean, I've seen that at every sort of price level, but that always makes me laugh when they give you evils.
Yeah. If you had a time machine, and if you thought that was possible with your kind of quantum physics knowledge and things, I don't know, but please go past that bit. But if you did have a time machine, what time, past or future, would you like to travel to?
If it was temporary, I'd like to go 100 years in the future or 1,000 years just to see what the technology was, because I want to be buzzing around in a spaceship. But I'd probably go back and watch the pyramids being built just to see how it's done once and for all.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's cool. Nice.
Yeah.
What would be your top tips to help someone become better at the documentary side of wedding photography specifically?
Street photography, and also just being a people watcher, and always put emotional value above everything, because the most valuable moments you can ever capture in a photograph are when there's those emotional value or novelty, and both for an absolute golden winner. But
And you mentioned the street photography there. Have you found that has had a big effect on your kind of wedding work?
oh, absolutely, street photography is incredibly difficult. It looks easy when you see it, but the patience you need and the skills on the spot are incredible. And the more I practice street photography, the better I got at documentary and weddings and being creative. I was meant to be in Mexico shooting with the 8th Street, but I had a damn abdominal hernia,
Oh no. Ooh.
so I couldn't do it. But luckily, I was just lying in bed, and like my cat was on my lap, and you do like a little crunch to lean forward, like the lower back's down and your shoulders go up. I felt a ping, and that just went back into place, so I fixed it. But I didn't get to go to Mexico. But I managed to.
You managed to heal yourself.
Yeah, it's really weird. I did a little crunch and I felt this internal pang, and I was like, "Oh, that could be really bad or really good." And I stood up and it completely gone. So I was like, handy.
Man, there are no boundaries to your kind of skills.
Well, I don't think I could fix anybody else's, and I wouldn't want to try it again. To be fair, I think I was a bit lucky.
And back to that street photography, you've done obviously lots of your own workshops. I've been on your workshops, which was brilliant. Recommend anyone, if Ross is doing more, definitely jump at the chance. Have you ever led a street photography workshop?
No, I haven't, but I will do that one day because I love it.
Yeah, and I think people would love to go on that as well.
Yeah.
Do you get so I know we mentioned about nerves before. I'm not obsessed with nerves, but for when you teach as well, when you spoke at lots of different conferences, and I've seen you talk at conferences at Snap and Nine Dots, and you're so confident. You don't even get nervous about talking on stage then?
I do, yes. That's what I mentioned when I used that example of stage fright before. I get hit with butterflies and excitement, but it's not really scared. It's just you're just full of adrenaline. Like you're literally sometimes shaking because you just want to get up there and do it. But at the same time, you're thinking, am I petrified or am I excited? I can't really tell. So I'm going to make it excited.
I've got to try that. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it definitely.
Yeah. The worst
Um,
bit is the intro. Like the first sentence is the hardest bit. I
okay,
always
once
think of like The Simpsons. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me. That's what I want to go up and do every time. But
you should do it. You should do it. Regarding editing specifically, a lot of people like to be able to edit, as quickly as possible, but you have a different approach to this, I think, don't you? Can you tell us more about that?
oh yeah, yeah. That was in a Nine Dots group. I didn't know if I was going to offend people, but that was aimed at no one in particular. But
No, of course.
the caveat is, if you can edit really well, you can edit quickly. So there's nothing wrong with editing quickly if you're doing it to the level that you're happy with. The problem is when people try and reduce their editing speed when they haven't really nailed their edit anyway, because
Right.
you might edit quickly and you might be able to post. I did a wedding in 2-3 hours, but if your white balance is off and your exposure's off and you haven't transformed a picture in the way that you could have, I think you're doing yourself a disservice because you can completely transform what you think is a standard picture to make it look, exceptional if you just put the effort in and you really think about what the final product of that picture can be. And if you do it on every photo, and I spend hours and hours editing now, but I demand that of myself because I'm at a high level and I want to get even higher. I have to have perfect white balance. I look back at some of my blog posts that are on the website at the moment. I'm thinking, that's off there, that's off there, that's off there. So the new work I've got is even more consistent because I've been pushing myself.
And does it take you a lot longer to edit a wedding now, or?
Yes, but if you remember, if I shot 12 weddings this year, um,
Yes, you have a lot more time.
I have more time, so I put that effort in, and so I'm still probably editing less than most people who are shooting 30 weddings, or
Right,
maybe
but
maybe equal, to be honest.
each wedding's just getting a lot more attention then, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm very very meticulous, like anally retentive, basically. So I don't just retouch people's spots if they've got them, but I I balance everything in the frame. I clean up the walls, windows, floors. I get rid of distractions and things.
Okay. And you must have noticed a noticeable better end product because of this.
It's just really clean and elegant, professional, consistent, and that's exactly what I want for my brand. Yeah, if you, I nearly made a whole gallery available to every single person to see recently because I want to show that you can go through a set of 700 pictures and it's just so damn consistent. That's my goal now, is to look through the whole gallery and just think every single picture could stand by itself. Like, like if you've got a blog post and you post it on like Facebook, it would sometimes pick a random picture as a thumbnail.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And if it was one you didn't like, you'd be like, that's irritating. I'm going to change that. I kind of want to, and obviously I don't achieve this because some are better than the others, but I want any single picture to be able to be picked from a whole wedding, and I'll be happy with it being online.
That's a great goal, isn't it? That is a good
Yeah.
goal.
I mean, I'm not there yet because you can't possibly have every picture that level. I'm nowhere near it, but that's the goal I'm going for. So it means I just put a lot of effort into every single picture.
So you've won all these awards. You're a great wedding photographer, obviously. Spoke at all these conferences, like a master of the mind as well, a musician. Is there anything that Ross Harvey is like just sucks at? Is this really bad at?
Well, I can't actually play a musical instrument. I pretty much suck at all of them. Thankfully, because I've got a keyboard in front of me, I've got a good ear, so I can tap things like a monkey until it sounds good. And I'm like, that's good. But I'm terrible at geography. I'm terrible at history. Like, I think my IQ drops to about that of a dead goldfish if you ask me about geography or history.
Okay, cool. And what do you? I think just time for a last question here. What do you find the most challenging aspect of being a wedding photographer to be?
Well, that's a tough question.
Yeah, I thought I'd just throw a
Yes.
difficult one.
Cheers, Alan.
Yeah.
Let's go on the podcast, Ross. That should be a nice, easy chat. Just throw that curveball at me. Right. The most challenging bit of being a wedding photographer,
Yeah.
I think, is self-belief, actually. It's definitely self-belief, and that is linked to social media, and it's linked to everything. It's managing to stay creative and happy, confident with yourself, happy with your work, and on a path that suits you and not the industry. I think that's the most challenging thing, because social media has taken over people's lives, and it can take over your direction and happiness if you're not careful. So that has to be managed. So yeah, self-belief and self-worth, and understanding that just do your own thing. Don't get distracted.
That's cool, man. Great advice. Man, Ross, thank you. Thanks so much for your time, man. That was so interesting. That was really great. Thank you.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for the invite.
And I will put, for people who are listening on the website, I'll put a link to your site, and I definitely recommend, if Ross, you're going to do more workshops, if you are, but people get on it. It's one of the best workshops I've ever been on, and it's just so great meeting you as well. Such a lovely guy. So yeah, thanks again, man.
Oh, cheers, but I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, and we're going to try and regain the 9 Dots Table Tennis Championship.
If that happens again randomly, that'd be amazing.
Thanks, man.
Cheers, buddy. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the second episode of our This Is Reportage podcast. We've launched with 3 episodes, so you can check out episode 1 and episode 3 right now for interviews with Adam Johnson and Sitlali Rico, respectively. If you enjoyed it today, you may like to subscribe to our show on iTunes to be notified when each new weekly episode is ready, bringing you advice, tips and backstories from some of the world's best photographers each week. You can also head to thisisreportage.com to find a full transcription of this episode. And if you're not already a member of This Is Reportage, check out all the benefits of joining us. We're all about promoting the very best in documentary wedding photography, and members receive lots of benefits, including 60 Reportage award entries and 18 Story award entries per year, an unlimited number of images shown on your profile, exclusive discounts of wedding photography related products, invites to our physical meetups and parties, and much more. No poses, nothing staged. This is Reportage. And this is bye for now.